Welcome to the Coastal Kitchen. I'm Karen Mashers, and today we're going to be working with ham. I've got a ham shank that is about 10 pounds, and what you want to do is make sure that you get a big pan with a whole lot of tin foil around it, because we're making a honey baked ham that has a glaze of mustard, honey, and marmalade. So let's get started. Now, the first thing that you want to do is cut off any excess fat, and we're going to cut some of this off real fast. Want about 1/4 of an inch on the ham because you don't want it too dense. Sometimes I'll leave a little more on than that just because I like the way it looks after it's been cooked. Okay, this piece of ham is going to go into a 350-degree oven. I'm going to grab some parchment paper. What we're going to do is take a piece of parchment paper and put over the top. Put that right over the top. I'm going to get another piece of tin foil. And we're going to put this right over the top. And I want you to make sure that you always make the seams tight, so roll them around. Take the ones off of the ends and roll it onto the top because you want this nice and tight. This is going to bake for about 30 minutes. It's already been sitting at room temperature for about 20 minutes. You want to bring it up from refrigeration. Okay, all ready to go in our 350 oven. While this is cooking, as I said, it's going to go in for 30 minutes. We're going to start making the glaze. We're going to put in some butter, and I'm going to turn this on medium and let that melt just a second. Let me grab a spoon. And once you get a little bit of butter on the bottom of your saucepan, we're going to pour in 2 cups of brown sugar, and this is packed brown sugar. Want to make sure it's nice and firmly packed. If you like dark brown sugar, it's fine to use dark brown. Okay, we're going to get all of that in. And we've got to wait just a second. Get that stirred around. And we're going to bring this up just until the sugar has melted, because it's got to sit and cool down to room temperature before it's put on the ham. All right, I'm putting a cup of honey in here. And another wonderful secret ingredient is marmalade. Just put your 1/2 cup of marmalade on top of the honey. Gives it a wonderful orange flavor, nice little citrus taste. And then, of course, mustard. I'm using French's type mustard. You can use a coarse grain mustard. You can use a Poupon mustard. Anything that you like, because always remember it's the way you like it. All right, sugar's starting to melt, and I'm going to put in my mustard. That marmalade and honey smells wonderful together. Just give it a good stir, and as I said, we're going to let this warm up, bring it to a little bit of a boil, and we're going to turn it off and let it set. Okay, while that's getting done, we're going to have mashed potatoes with parsnips with our ham today. What we're going to do is take our parsnips and our mashed potatoes, we're going to peel them, cut them up into small pieces, And then when we come back after a word from our sponsor, I'll show you how we prepare them.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Food Lion, your neighborhood grocery store. Since 1957, Food Lion has been offering the highest quality products at low prices with great service. Swing by your local Food Lion today to find all the ingredients needed to make the meal featured on this week's show.
Well, while you were gone, I have peeled potatoes, parsnips, got them all cut up, and we're going to start this cooking. I've got to take 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to put that in my big frying pan and give that a nice turn on to medium, and I'm going to let that start to brown. In the meantime, I've got to turn off my sauce. I'm going to give it another quick stir, and in just a few minutes we'll be putting our basting on our ham. I think I'll get that ready for that right now. Let me grab my little fun tool and my brush. So I'm ready. Okay, that butter is starting to melt, and we're going to put our parsnips right in the pan. We're going to cook those for about 8 minutes till they get tender. Want them nice and tender before we add our potatoes. Then we're going to let them boil probably about 20 minutes or until the potatoes are done. And the fun part is the mashing. And on these, I hand mash. I don't use my mixer. You can use your mixer, but I like to hand mash. Parsnips give a wonderful flavor to the potatoes, a little bit perfumey, woodsy, and sometimes I'll even give it a top off at the very end with some dill because those flavors mesh so well together. Alright, we're going to let them cook for just a minute, and I'm going to get my ham out of the oven. Let's take a quick look. A little hot, watch for the steam. Alright, we're going to take this tin foil off. I'm going to reserve it over here because I might want to cover up my ham in just a few minutes. Get that parchment paper off, and let me grab a knife real quick. I'm going to cut just about 1/4 inch down at an angle because we're going to make diamonds. Now I'm going to come back here the other way. And this is when I'm going to put in my cloves. And when you put in your cloves, just get you a handful of whole cloves and start pressing them in the center of the diamond. Makes it look so festive, and the smell is incredible. You know, you can get these recipes at atmctv.com. You can visit us on Facebook. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us, and we'll help you any way we can. If we don't know the answers, we'll try to find them out. It's getting to look festive, isn't it? I'm just doing the front side of the ham. Put a couple over here, because we're going to turn that over once we get it done. Let's stir these parsnips up a little bit. And And now it's time for our glaze. Our glaze is at room temperature. It's a nice brown. And I'm going to pour about 1/3 of the glaze on top of my ham. And then I'm going to come from the bottom and I'm going to make sure that it's completely basted. And this is going to go back into the oven, still at 350, and we're going to let it sit for another 15 minutes, and then we will take it out and baste it again. We're going to do that 3 times until we use all of our basting glaze. So now it can go in the oven uncovered. Here we go. Pop it back in. Okay. All right. That's got 15 minutes more to go, and I'm going to turn my parsnips down just a touch. Oh, they're getting beautifully done. The smell, wonderful. All right, let's turn that down. I'm going to put my potatoes in now. We're going to put all of our potatoes. And we're going to put about 3 cups of water on top of that. And we're going to let the potatoes get nice and done. Okay. Just give it a quick stir. I'm going to put some salt on there. Just a little sprinkle. And let's put a lid on the top. Okay. Ready to go. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit, and we're going to come over and make a really delicious appetizer. Every time that I make this, somebody asks for the recipe. It's very simple. It just takes a little bit of time. Okay, the first thing we have to do is have 2 blocks of cream cheese at room temperature. I've got that in my bowl. I've also got 1/2 stick of goat cheese. Goat cheese has such a great flavor. It's just a farmer's cheese, and they come in little packages just like this. I use my scissors to get it out, and then squeeze. Okay, give my hands a little wash here. And we're going to mix that all up together. Okay. You want this well mixed up. That's why you have those ingredients at room temperature. Give it a good... Okay, we're going to stop that for just a sec, and I'm going to get 1/2 lemon. Let's roll that lemon just a touch, and we're going to squeeze the juice of 1/2 lemon right on top of our cheese mixture. Okay, so give it a good squeeze. Okay, looks great. Now we're going to mix up just a little bit more. Just thinking about how this turns out is making me hungry. Okay. Let's get the rest of that cream cheese out of those beaters. All right, all mixed up. I'm gonna set this over here because the next part is just a hair tricky. I've got some cling wrap and I've got a small container. This actually will make 2 of these containers, or you can use a larger one. But the tricky part is getting this lovely cling wrap inside the bowl all the way down to the bottom, because you have to unstick it and restick it. Okay, now assembly for this lovely spread. Grab some basil. You can use regular basil leaves that you get at the grocery store, but we're going to stick that right in the very, very bottom of our container. I'm going to take about 1/3 cup of sun-dried tomatoes, and these have been marinated in olive oil. And when I put these in, I'm just going to squash them down, pack them down a little bit, so you make sure you get a nice amount in there. Let's put a little bit more. Just give it a good push. Okay, got that done. Now let me grab a spatula. I'm going to take my cheese mixture and I'm going to put about 1/3, just so you get about 1 inch of the cheese mixture on top. And it's a lovely sticky process, but you want it to cover the tomatoes completely. And just flip it up a little bit. Make sure it goes all the way to the sides. Now it's time for pesto. Now, pesto is generally easy to make. You can make your own. I do very frequently. It's basil, garlic, and olive oil. And I have some pre-prepared, and I'm going to take about 2 teaspoons, put right on top of the cheese mixture, and I'm going to spread it out. That garlic is wonderful. Smells great. Let's get one more, just for good measure. Okay, now we're going to come back and top with more of the cheese mixture. This has to go into the refrigerator after you've put it all together for about, I say 3 hours, because you want the cheeses to set again and it to form into a beautiful mold. When you unmold it, you'll have a very distinct shape. Okay, and we're going to squash, and things are going to come out. It's going to come out the sides, but that's okay, because the real secret to this is taking your cling wrap, coming over the top nice and tight, over the top nice and tight, all sides, and then you want to take your hands and press. You want it all to come together in this mold. Okay, this is going to go into the refrigerator real quick. We're going to take another look at our potatoes and parsnips, and we will be back in just a moment after a message from our sponsor.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Holden Brothers Farm Market in Charlotte for supplying the fresh produce on this week's show. For over 25 years, the Holden Brothers Farm Market has specialized in the freshest locally grown produce on their 250 acres in Charlotte. Swing by their indoor market located near mile marker 10 on Highway 17, or check them out online at holdenbrothersfarmmarket.com.
Welcome back. While you were gone, I basted the ham, and my potatoes and parsnips are all ready to start mashing. And then we're going to do our Brussels sprouts. Okay, I'm going to mash these parsnips and potatoes. I've drained them. Give them a good mash here. Then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. And if you don't want to use butter, you can use a butter substitute. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. But I'm putting in 3 tablespoons of butter. Going to mash that in right into my potatoes and parsnips. And I do like these mashed, as I said, not whipped. You can tell how hot they are because the steam is just rising away. All right, I've got half a cup of milk. I'm going to put that in. That just makes them that much creamier. Get it all in there. And I'm going to put a little bit of salt. Don't want too much because I like people to salt at the table if they wish to put some more in there. Nice little bit of pepper. And we're going to mash just a little bit more. Get it all in. Okay. Put that in the sink. I'm going to give it a turn around with my big spoon and put it in my serving dish. Ooh, this is the time you want to take a spoon or a fork to this right away. A little bit more. Wonderful to serve at any meal, holiday meal or just a good family dinner. As I said, I like to put a little bit of dill on because I love the flavor. Doesn't that look great? Okay, I'm going to set that aside because we're going to get ready to eat in just a few minutes. We've got one more basting of our ham. Let me get that out real fast. I'm going to sit that right on the stove. And in the meantime, I have started water boiling for my Brussels sprouts. Wonderful food. A lot of people think they don't like them, but they just haven't had them cooked the right way. With a Brussels sprout, we use about 1 pound. They're real easy to clean. Just cut the end off and the outer leaves just peel off, ready to go. So I've got some cleaned and washed, and I'm going to put them in my water to boil. I'm going to let them boil about 8 minutes. And while that's working, we're going to do a little bit more basting. Okay. Let's get it all over the top. Again, I pour a little bit, and then we're going to baste around. Doesn't that look wonderful? Smells so good. All right, all my sauce is gone, so that can go in the sink. And I'm going to put this back in the oven, let it cook for a little while longer. Again, if it starts to brown too much on the top for you, just cover it with that piece of foil that you used in the very beginning. All right, doesn't it look beautiful? Okay. With our Brussels sprouts, we're going to take a tablespoon of butter, put this in our pan, and I'm going to take a third of a cup of walnut pieces, spread it out on my little baking dish, and pop it in a 350 oven for about 2 minutes. Just want to start the flavor coming out of those walnuts. This also has walnut oil in it, and there are so many wonderful oils that you can put in your food to make the flavor so much stronger, a little bit tastier. So we're going to use walnut oil, And I'm going to use a teaspoon of that in my pan right now. I'm going to get it ready for my Brussels sprouts. Teaspoon is quite enough. Really enhances the flavor. Now, we need one more thing to complete our Brussels sprouts. And that's a clove of garlic. And so we're going to get one out real fast. Mince it up and throw it in the pan with our oil and our butter. And the Brussels sprouts are just about done in the boil. And we're just going to do a nice dice. That was a little bit of a big clove, so I'm just going to cut that up nice and small into the pan. Okay, it's time to take out the Brussels sprouts, get them drained. So off the stove they come, give them a drain, turn off our oven. I'm going to set those there for just a moment because we're going to get those almond pieces right out of the oven. Okay, everything's ready. That should be drained. It's going in the pan. This is going to take about 2 minutes. I'm going to throw in the nuts with a good stir all the way around. And we're going to put in 4 tablespoons of vegetable broth. Finish it off. Mm. 2 minutes and this will be ready. I'm going to do a little cleanup, get my ham out of my oven, and we'll be ready to serve when you come back.
ATMC TV and the Coastal Kitchen would like to say thank you to our sponsors at Food Lion, your neighborhood grocery store. Swing by your local Food Lion today to find all the ingredients needed to make the meal featured on this week's show.
Thanks for visiting us at the Coastal Kitchen. I hope one of these recipes can grace your table during the holiday season. If you'd like the recipes or like to get in touch with us, you can visit us at atmctv.com or search for us on Facebook at the Coastal Kitchen. Have a great holiday season, and it's time for me to take a bite. Look at those tomatoes. Wonderful.
From all of us at ATMC, the very best wishes to you this holiday season.
Is 6:30 too early for a Get Fit workout? Are your weeknights too hectic to catch West Brunswick football? Find yourself missing all your favorite ATMC TV shows? Well, now you don't have to. ATMC TV is airing all their latest shows on demand. Stop, pause, fast forward, or rewind. Watch your shows on your time. Tune to Channel 1 to see shows like Get Fit, Tea Time, Community Spotlight, and more. Stay connected to beautiful Brunswick County with ATMC TV on demand. Brought to you free by ATMC.